everybody. It's Maddie. I am, for those of you that don't know me, I am the founder of Celebrations LLC. I'm a social worker and a journey coach. And this is the Calming the Chaos Collective, which is just a group of women who are really trying to understand anxiety, how our brains work in anxiety, how our body works, how we connect in with faith and God in that. And I'm super excited to be here on a Friday to talk about sleep because I'm always sleepy. If you come online, just say hi so that I'll know that you're there. Would love to connect with you. And if you're watching this on replay, as always, just say replay and then I can come in and chat and see if there's any questions that you have. So this week we're talking about sleep. I will tell you, this is one of my struggles always. My brother and I were just talking recently about the fact that I remember my grandmother getting up like at 4 o'clock in the morning and thinking, oh my gosh, she gets up too early. And now guess what? I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And there's different things that happen with some of us with sleep. And we've been chatting about some of this in the Calming the Chaos Collective this week. But some of us have problems going to sleep. Some of us wake up and then have problems going back to sleep. That certainly is me. I can go to sleep fine, but I wake up in the middle of the night and then have really a lot of problems. And a lot of times that sleep problem is this swirling brain of anxiety. And, I don't even have to be stressed. Like I could be waking up at 1 o'clock in the morning and thinking, oh, what am I going to fix for dinner tomorrow? What do I need to do for work tomorrow? What about this? I mean, it doesn't even have to be like fearful stuff. It just is. So, I think that sleep is a really complicated thing, and a lot of it has to do with the brain and how the brain is working, how much melatonin, and you guys, some of you have heard this before, how much melatonin is getting released and how that process is working. I think a really interesting thing about the brain is that when the brain gets signaled that it's time to go to sleep. And I was just talking to somebody the other day that understands brains, kind of like I do. And he was telling me that like even the act of putting our pajamas on, of, going around and making sure the doors are locked or the lights are off, that signals there's these things that happen that signal our brain without us even really knowing it. Oh, it's time. Like it's time to go to sleep. And so these routines that we do at night signal the brain to start producing melatonin, which is what we need to sleep well. And I think the interesting thing about that too, for me, is that those routines help me relax. It helps me remember it's time. And so that's really one of the biggest things we can do is have a routine before bed. Our brains love routine. Our brains, and we've talked about this before. We'll be talking a little bit more, actually a lot more about this in the workshop coming up. If you guys haven't registered, then get on over there and register because we're going to talk a lot more about the brain versus the mind. And this is a really interesting concept around sleep because our brain it just functions like it just does. Sorry, I'm getting texts. I forgot to put my do not disturb on. So the brain actually, it knows functions. It knows, okay, this is what I need to do. The mind, which is our frontal lobe and our ability to reason through, will say, you know what, I'm not sleeping very well, so I need to start this routine. And that's how the brain and the mind work when it comes around sleep. I think sleep is complicated because it is very much affected by a lot of different things. It can be affected medically if we're not breathing well or we have sleep apnea. It can be affected by medications. Some medications make us too sleepy or not sleepy enough. If we're not feeling well, if we have allergies. There's a million and one things that really can affect the way we sleep. And so sometimes it's about digging it down and going, okay, this is what it is, or it might be this. There's never a quick fix, unfortunately, for sleep. But what we're talking about in the Calming the Chaos Collective is really about anxiety and how our anxiety affects our functioning. And so when we think about how we try to sleep and have that anxiety, I think it could get really complicated because here's the thing. We're running all day long. We have lots of distractions going on, whether that's work, whether that's kids, whether that's going here or there. There's all these distractions. And then suddenly it's time to go to bed. and we have nothing at all to distract us. And so there's this spinning that starts. Oh my gosh, what about this? The fear starts, the predicting the future starts, the mind reading of other people's brains, which we can't really do, but we like to pretend we can do, really starts. And so, one of the things I would say is part of the routine really needs to be adding in something that helps you calm. I had mentioned earlier in the week, one of the things I do every single night is I read. I've had to get off, like I've had to retrain my routines a little bit, especially during COVID. And while I was doing I started doing online stuff a lot more. I have to be off the computer by 7:30. Computers, cell phones, all of those things that are electronic. They actually have, you've heard probably of a blue light filter. They have a blue light that signals our brain that it's daytime, which is why we have blue light glasses and we have blue light filters. But if you're on your phone or a screen of some kind, it will trigger your brain to think that it's daytime. And so I've had to train myself. I'm off the screens by 7:30, 7:45 at the latest. I will tell you, if I can't do that, then I'm up much, much later and I don't sleep well. I will read. I change clothes. I, read. I sit calm in quiet. And that signals my brain, okay, it's time to go to sleep. Now, what happens if you can't go to sleep, or if you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't go back to sleep? I think that's where guided meditations really come in handy. Somebody had said earlier this week that there is some guided meditations on Netflix, and I think it was, I'm not sure I remember who it was, but I don't want to get it wrong. But anyway, there's some actually guided meditations on Netflix that you can play. Abide, and I've talked about the Abide app before. There's lots of meditation apps, but the Abide app is actually a Christian and faith focused meditation, and they have these sleep stories that I will actually just stick in my ear and lay down and listen to. And it's these stories that talk about the positivity of things, and it's a really nice voice. There's also another app that I really, really like. It's and I'll post it today at the end of this in the comments. It's from the UCLA. They have a guided meditation school, and their woman that's on the recordings, her voice is just, I'm sitting here. I love the brain. This is how it works. I'm sitting here thinking about her voice and I instantly relax. She has a really nice voice, but they have one specifically for sleep. And what it does is it walks you through this kind of releasing tension in your body, get your body relaxed, which your brain will then follow the relaxation, and then you can go to sleep. And so I think that the two important things, the biggest thing is to get a routine going. Most of us don't always have a really good sleep routine. As a social worker, that's one of the things that I always talk to my people about when I work with them is like, let's talk about your sleep. We call it sleep hygiene, because if we're not sleeping well, our brains aren't working well. We therefore have more anxiety because we don't have the ability to control the brain as well and self-regulate the emotions. So it's all very, very, very all works together. One of the things that you guys will hear me talk about is that when I'm not sleeping, I can't find words. Like this week, I guess Monday night, I didn't sleep very well, and Tuesday, and I talk for a living, and I was just having the biggest problems trying to find the right words. Now I know that about myself, so I know what's happening. But, our brains are just really, really affected when we don't sleep. And so getting that good sleep is really important. The other thing that I know is when you think about routines, and we talked about the sleep routine, once I start getting up, and I think this is a lot of people and how their brain works, once I start waking up at 1 o'clock in the morning, that becomes like, I'll do that for 2 weeks straight. It's like my brain has gone, oh, we get up and we do this and we do this. So it's really important to not do anything at 1 o'clock in the morning that's going to stimulate your brain. Because again, it will create this habit in the brain to start waking up at that time because it's expecting activity. I think that, some of the other important things is that it's just about trying to find a balance between sometimes we're not going to sleep well. We're just not. And most people will tell you that you shouldn't take a nap. I'm sorry, I'm a nap person. I take a nap. So, and it just helps me get through the rest of the day when I can. And then if I'm, I try to then just go to sleep a little bit later that night so that I'm not up during the night. But, here's what I'm going to tell you. This is, again, like everything else we do, this is not a perfect process. There's no perfect way to figure this out. And part of what I think is challenging is that you have to find what works for you and for your brain and your anxiety and your life. And that's where the hard piece comes in is knowing that it's not a checkbox that you can check off, which I really like. I like check boxes. It's really a process and it's a journey. So we're going to be talking more about sleep in the Slay the Chaos workshop that's coming up on September 20th. I hope that you'll register. We're going to have some really fun stuff. I've got some bonus products that I've been developing, and I've been posting a little bit about that. And it's actually going to be the 20th through the 24th. On the 25th, we'll be doing some guided meditation and some prayer. And then that Sunday, we'll be doing some Q&A as well. So there'll be some other kind of really some exciting ways that you can get some answers, start looking at, because part of what I do as a coach is I really help people individualize all this stuff for them. I do individual guided meditations with people and for people. I record those. We'll be talking a lot about that a little bit more through the workshop, but I just want, we talk a lot about this stuff in this collective, but I really want you to feel better. And that's why I'm really excited about this workshop, because I think it'll help. And then the programming that we'll be doing after. So you guys have a great weekend. I will be on and off this weekend, just trying to get some stuff done. And as always, thank you for being such a great part of this community. We always do well and do better in community together when we're sharing what our experiences are. So I am always just super thankful for this group. So shoot me any questions in the comments. Feel free to message me if you have any questions, and we'll just keep rocking, okay? And hopefully you guys will get some good sleep tonight. Thanks. I'll talk to you later. Bye.